But
Hello, you guys, and welcome to Keeping Up with Seven. I know it's been a while since we talked. In the last episode, we talked about me rebranding, returning to the show, how everything is going for the New Year's. Um, I'm actually here with two special guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you.
Hello, Tony. When that would be Rich. He says hi.
well, you said
Rich.
when and then never finished it. But yo, I'm Rich. Y'all all know the vibes. We are the Problem Podcast. We have come to collab with the one and only Seven, as she may call herself, and as I do so as well. Um, so thanks for having us come on. I'm very excited. I've listened to a little bit of your podcast as well, and you got some quotables on there that we'll get into later. But I'll let you do your thing.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I'm excited. I unfortunately have not heard anything, so I'm excited to see what you talk about in your podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have y'all come on here. I'm very, very excited for today's episode. It was long anticipated. Today, we're going to talk about social media and the effects that it has on people psychologically in relationships, et cetera, et cetera. Um, while I was doing research, I found that social media has a negative effect of 64 people. They say it has impacted them negatively. Um, and I find that like really like interesting because I wouldn't say that we do live in a really virtual time, but we're in a time where people idolize influencers and celebrities and they kind of look up to and worship them. I mean, I do catch myself on social media a lot. um what do you guys think about that?
Do you think it's more of like the people who are posting every day, or do you think it's people who just are scrolling?
I mean, there is endless time spent scrolling on Instagram and TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, you know what I'm saying? All those things are going on in your mind. So when you start to get on Instagram and you see people with the new car, their relationship goals, you start to think like, why isn't that falling in place for me?
Mm,
Um, I would
Mhm.
say that it has become a very essential part of our lives. We wake up every day and we get caught up in this little reality, and it could result in discouragement, anxiety, or even depression, and fear
Mhm.
that we can't catch up to what they're doing.
Right.
facts. There's a lot of comparison going on there.
Yeah, I actually, that's one thing that I try to talk with Tony about as well, and then I also try to just spread to anybody I kind of know for the most part. You can't really be out here trying to compare yourself to everybody. You know what I mean? Because everybody wants to put. We say this all the time. People put their best selves on social media. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to talk about when their fridge is empty and they got like $100 in the bank account and they trying to figure out how they're gonna make that stretch for the next week. Nobody wants to talk about that, but they will post when they're on vacation. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's cool, but I think that all comes back to the one of the quotes that I do want to touch on that you had said on one of your episodes, and that was you were learning you were learning how to love yourself, right? Or fall in love with yourself. And I think that to me was one of the biggest quotables I've ever heard in my life, because truly falling in love with yourself is a deeper concept, right? You can't, if you have that love for yourself and you're confident in yourself and you're okay with who you are, where you're going, you know your path, you kind of know what's kind of what you want to do with your life at some level. And you're not gonna let really anybody necessarily get you out of the way of saying to yourself, listen, I got struggles too. I'm also a human being. I recognize everybody else is a human being, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna walk my path, and that's gonna be that. Love it or hate it, what I mean? Things become different. I mean? You're not on social media like, oh, he got, a relationship goal and shit like that. Da, da, da. You never know. Behind, as soon as they turn off that camera, he yelling in her face and nobody knows. There's mad relationship, gurus out there that cheating on their wife. You just heard about that dude. That's strong black man. You know what I mean? Cheating on his wife. It'd be wild out here. You don't know. So I just try to be real. That's what I stay myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. I think that there is a persona that people put on a front, that people put on when they post. And so, like you said, man, they're putting all this energy of like who their best self is on Instagram, posting all that shit. I think that I think a lot of Instagram is phony. I think a lot of that is just it's fake. It's fake, and it's a lot. But I understand that people want to seem happy. No one's going to put out their negative stuff out on the internet because who's that doing good for? Yeah, you can relate to that, but I respect the fact that people are trying to be positive more so on the internet by spreading pretty much happiness in their lives and seeing who else, seeing just to show everyone that they're happy, they're having a good time. But on the hindsight, that is like, are they really having a good time? You don't know, like you were saying, man. You just don't know. So I try not to think too much about what other people are posting material wise because a lot of people will buy that Ferrari or rent it for Ferrari, go out, take pictures in front of it. It's not even their car. They're just putting on a front. People try to do that to make themselves seem like they have money. And I knew that for a while now because I've been in like a group chat where people are like, you got to get your Instagram followers up so that people will follow you so that you can have XYZ, make this amount of money, reach these amount of people. Go rent a Ferrari, go rent a Ferrari for a day, take pictures in front of it. Wear different clothes, take pictures in front of it. So it seems like you have multiple days in front of that Ferrari. A lot of that shit is fake, man. So me knowing that going into it, I kind of have like an insight on knowing that Instagram and all these posts are not 100% legitimate.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because a lot of y'all favorite rappers, they take pictures with them chains and they go right back to Jimmy Dang after that night. But
Jimmy Dang got millions in return.
Yeah, and what we're saying about falling in love with myself, it's all about self-worth because when you do get on Instagram, it can actually make or break you depending on what pages you keep up with, what you follow, what you look at, what you pay attention to. It's just like a diet. You know what I'm saying? If you follow motivational pages and meditation and self-care, that's what you're gonna get. If you follow Lil Baby in the shade room and Gossip for the City, that's what you're gonna fill your mind with. I also feel like people, what you're saying about the Ferrari, they value designer things more than anything in the world. So what I'm saying, like where we come from, we grew up, we didn't have nothing. So, we don't know self-worth. So once you put those Jordans on and you put that Balenciaga bag on and that Louis Vuitton, you think that adds value to you. Not knowing the next day that they get up and they put on a Hanes t-shirt and some jeans and New Balances and go on ahead about their day. It's all about what you create inside of your head.
There's a saying, you fake it till you make it,
Well, that's a fact.
A lot of people do that, it's maybe you got to visualize what you want by what you're wearing. And I don't know, for some people it's different, man. It's a philosophy. I don't go about with that, like that type of living. I don't like being fake. Who I am is who I am, and how I live my day is how I live my day. Me personally, I rarely post on Instagram or on that shit because it's just not, it doesn't interest me. The numbers of likes, it doesn't interest me. But it does to a lot of people because they tie their self-worth to the amount of likes they get on a post. I mean, I have friends like that. And, for females, there's a lot of pressure, I feel like, on females to post.
Yeah. Being creating content myself and being, in the type of, age range and category that I am, I try to make it as genuine as possible. I don't get up and get dressed and tell them, this and that, X, Y, and Z. I try to make it authentic as possible because I feel like there is a lot of pressure on young girls in society, like not even on social media in general, but when females, it gets me when females get on social media and speak about other females, like, the Erica Banks situation. I grew up north. Okay, so me being a small girl, a skinny girl, I never heard anything about thick or body weight or fat or any type of thing until I got down here. Yeah. And, it just makes it seem like this sort of like competition, like, like, oh, I look better than you. Like, but when you take off, it doesn't matter what you put on social media. You know what I'm saying? That's what I try to portray to these girls that I talk to. When you take off all the filters and the eyelashes and the makeup And you sit down at the end of the day, like, who are you? Like, your character matters the most, because I think that's what really makes people genuine and beautiful. The character on the inside, because sometimes when you look at people on social media and you meet them and you actually get the chance to meet them in real life, it's just like, like
boring. Yeah, flat. You want to know something? Kendrick Lamar said it best. He said, "Take off the foo-foo, take off the sweet talk." I mean, what do you have? Oh, bitch, you ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. Yeah. So, I think Kendrick Lamar, also through his ventures in therapy and figuring out himself and learning to love himself and doubting himself, but it's honestly the craziest thing that somebody like Kendrick Lamar can go to therapy for something like self-doubt. Kendrick makes work and goes, damn, I wonder if this is good enough. Like,
the whole time we be here like, this shit hate, bro.
Like, yo, like, so it's like, you got to really think about that. Like, it's just as you said, you got to really develop that character, right? Because you can only put on so much forward, right? To hide really how you feel when you look in that mirror at night. And, as long as you're not out of pocket, you know what I mean? You can stay in your lane, grow. And as you need to switch over to the faster lanes, you can start, moving at high speed in an actual Rari that you own.
Yeah.
But right now, I'll stay in my own lane with a Toyota and, level up slowly.
Like Nipsey also said, stay in your lane. There's no traffic in your lane. Do what you do. That's what makes you unique, man. For real.
Big fact.
So when you said when you did this, when you looked at the research, it was like 64 people out of what, like 100?
Yeah.
100 people?
It was a statistic. It was like 64%. So wow. I found it interesting because that's a little more than I had expected it to be. But I catch myself sometimes. And then also I remember, like, nowadays we don't really make talented people famous.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that where's the talent at? I mean, I see all these people becoming famous, but they're famous for what? Doing this? I mean,
tomato.
Oh, that is the part that really gets me.
The TikTok dancers? Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, for real. So, like,
people. Not Arizona sweet tea, by the way.
Ooh, I saw they went up to 125.
I don't know how much
wild
bought it, but
$1.25. The world is ending.
Yep. Yeah, wild. It's crazy.
Like, we're in the end of time.
Really wicked. And it's fucking 50 some odd 60 degrees out here in the middle of January. How do we all feel about that?
I really like that.
I ain't nothing wrong with a little global warming.
I can hear it. Is that an ice cap? Are those polar bears drowning? Hold on.
Like, it's a little too warm.
Oh my gosh. It's funny, me and
so you said you're from where now? You said you're from down south?
Me? I'm from New York.
Oh, you're from New York. Okay. Where are you staying right now? Oh, you're in Georgia. Okay. We're in Georgia.
I stay close to Atlanta.
Nice. Very. That's all you need to say. I've been in Georgia for 5+ years. So it's beautiful. I love it.
Shock.
Culture shock? Yeah, I can see that. Atlanta's a different breed, man. People are. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I don't know. I loved it.
Talk about y'all got everything from us. We did puffer coats first. You do not know how to dress. Your music is trash.
That's hilarious. Your music is. Thank you. Good night.
They're just mad. It's too hot to wear Timbs down there.
I know, right?
Way too hot to wear Timbs down there.
I mean, like it's 50 degrees.
Now,
60 degree weather. You're cold.
You can get some Timbs in.
Oh, for real.
That dead ass type of time.
Black ones.
Definitely. I'll tell you what though, you were saying culture shock. Even the black people, because I lived down south for like a good 2-3 years of my life, right? But I was in South Carolina, Florence, South Carolina with my mom. But I tell you, the black people is different black people up north than it is down south.
I swear to God.
Everywhere has a hood, but these two motherfuckers operate on different wavelengths.
I promise.
I was in the outskirts of it, of in Georgia one time. Me and my girlfriend, we were walking down, and it was a little nice, cute town. And this old black man was walking out, and he goes, "Yeah, you love that woman. I know you do. Ain't nothing like those Yankees. They wouldn't be treating her nicely like you are." Meanwhile, I'm walking away thinking, I am a Yankee. I have never actually heard that word be said in public.
That's hilarious.
That Yankee.
Yeah.
What?
Oh
They
my
are
goodness.
they kind of are a different breed, like bro. Like,
Definitely.
I'm not gonna lie, like they like to fight, like.
Oh yeah. Whoa, bro. Boys love two things, and that's bass in any song. I don't care what the fuck it is, bass and fighting. That's what it is.
You know, like, do you need a hug? Like,
Yeah, like you good
what?
to
Chill out.
Son,
Relax.
you know what's crazy though? Up here, they'll shoot you. Down there, they'll fight you. I don't get it. Like,
Wow, because
But
it's
anyway,
harder to get guns up here.
mhm.
especially here, I seen niggas got that fire on me, bro. You don't know how to fight. Shut up.
That's a
You want
fact.
to first? Just say you can't fight, and that's
Just say
it.
it. Just admit it. Everybody, that's another thing I was hearing. You know, Waka Flocka appeared on Shannon Sharp's podcast called Club Shay Shay, and that's one thing he was saying. Like, he felt like, and I also felt that way too. A lot of the generation quick to pick up guns, right, and be out here not knowing how to fight hard body, like built like goddamn the cinnamon stick from Apple Jacks. It causing issues because you got heat in your pocket. Like, son, what are we really doing right now? Okay,
And half of them, you know what the
fantastic.
problem was? Half of them was little puppies growing up, so now they don't know how to control that at all. So I catch you without your heat on you, like, what's your life like? Like,
You good? You want a hug? I can get you a journal. You want to start journaling?
Shut the fuck up.
That's hilarious.
You want to see my therapist? I got her right on speed dial, like for emergencies
I can
only.
hook you up with a good discount.
it's crazy.
So you had let us know on another episode as well that you had started this podcast for three reasons, right? And that was to make it a little bit more relatable, a little bit more spiritual, and a little bit more comfortable, right? Do you feel like you've gotten that also that personal touch in there? How do you feel like so far that you've been able to do that? Because I think that that was kind of also one of our visions as well. When me and Tony started this, we wanted to just kind of come on and be ourselves, right? Because we had gotten along so well in the office, we know each other from work. We were like, why don't we just take this out? You know what I mean? Like, people love us in the office. It's like, not to pat our own backs, but why don't we just? I'm sure other people will like us too, and if they don't, then, you know what I mean? So, do you feel like so far you've been able to accomplish that?
I've honestly been working on it because you see, like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, don't ever be always be prepared. I'll salute you on that.
Yeah,
that's great.
But, like, that's because I'm a very visual person. Like, I have a planner, you know what I'm saying? That's why when we were in the process of planning this meeting, I was like, okay, when is this happening? Because I'm a very visual person. Like, I have to open up my book and see what's going on this week, and so I know, like, you know what I'm saying? But as far as creating, like, speaking and stuff like that, I think I've gotten a little bit more to the point where it flows naturally. So now that I'm able to, like, write down ideas or just, like, come off the head and riff when I want to. But as far as sharing, like, my personal experience and things like that, I'm kind of stepping out of my little square box or circle or whatever you want to call it, my bubble. Because I'm not in real life, if you know me and there's, like, conflict, I'm really not the type of person to, like, let's talk about it. I'm like, disappear in the thin air because
fade into the hedge like Homer.
Like, just go. I don't want to talk about it. But as far as that, like I'm learning how to incorporate personal elements. And I think that, since you have picked up on things like, me saying I want to fall in love with myself and, I want to make a comfortable space like that, I think that I'm actually getting better. So thank you for noticing that.
Hey, I think you're great at it. You have a great positive energy to you, and I felt that. Like the first words came out of your mouth, I felt that. So you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Perfect.
But back to what we were saying, right? I feel like people just do anything for attention really now because clout can really be a drug. Like I find myself like I'm like, how many likes did this get? What did this reel do? Like I'm all in my analytics now.
Right.
But I'm finding myself getting better at it. But since it's like kind of like, this is a career, I have to be a little bit serious about it. But I don't let myself play into it too much. It affects intimate relationships too. So it's kind of especially in my generation, like, oh, you double tapped her picture, and I'm like, it's a picture, like, okay, he liked it. That don't mean he like her. I don't know.
Exactly. I think that's one of the bigger things too. Like, just because, like, I can like anybody's picture. Number one, first off, I can like anything. Like, I can be walking on the street. I like your shoes. That doesn't mean I like the entirety of you. That just means I like your shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in the same way
Plus,
that
I think people think,
like picture, but I mean, I gotta, go ahead.
Yeah, I think people take likes as like too serious. Listen, I'm just showing love to everyone. No one, it don't matter. That's all it is.
You can
people
get
are
this
posting
love too, baby.
Yeah, it's no, not like. Stop.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying like people can you're just sharing love out there. People read too much into it. I think people people are looking for reasons sometimes just to be jealous. Now I've had that in past relationships, but I haven't had. I'm good right now.
But I will say this: it does depend on the type of person you're with, and it does depend on your love language. Because when we watch social media, there's two different type of people. There's people like, I don't really care about that stuff. And then we get on social media and we see, the big balloons and the bouquets of roses and the teddy bears for Valentine's Day. Some people like attention. Some people like reassurance. Some people like, that type of stuff. And then there's other people like, I like gifts, what I'm saying, material things. It just depends on your love language. And there's a lot of different types of,
I think that's 100%. A very good conversation. Because I have a friend that was, he came to me about, kind of that type of situation with him and his girlfriend. And, he had gotten her something that was a little bit more thoughtful and from the heart or whatever. And, she just wanted to know what he needed. Like, tell me what you want and I'll get it. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, I don't really want that. Like, I could tell you, but I don't feel like that does anything for us. But, she was very adamant about just saying, what she wanted to hear from him as far as what he wanted. Because she was used to that. You know what I mean? I just tell you what you want, you get it, and then that's it. So, I think that that's a very big thing as well, especially when you try to talk about, you were saying type of partner you're with. That also goes into that loving yourself part of it, right? So it's like, as long as you have the self-confidence to realize that I don't care who's out here liking my show picture. That doesn't mean that they about to show up at my front door, you know what I mean? And, give her game and then walk out my life. Like, that's not about to happen. Fantastic. You like her or you like her picture or whatever, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. So
yeah, but it also is like the type of picture too. I mean, I'm not going to be going around like a whole bunch of women in bikinis and shit. Like I mean, that's but that's out of like a show of respect for my girlfriend. I want to be respectful for her. I'm not going to be going around liking bitches in bikinis. I'm sorry. That's just yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean,
so I get that aspect of it.
Me personally, I would say if it's like shorty that like you liking like thirst trap pictures, shorty that that's borderline, right? But like if it's like a celebrity, like I'll never see Kalani a day in my life. But I tell you what, I will like 1,000 pictures if you keep posting them.
Yeah, you see Megan Fox, I'll be liking those pictures too, though.
You can like pictures and it not mean anything, but then there's also liking pictures that are obvious thirst traps, right? So it's like,
yes,
I'm here with my shorty or whatever, and we vibing and shit like that. And next thing you know, she look over and she see me liking, seeing a picture of best friend that done posted a thirst trap. It's like, why are you doing that? For what?
Yeah, you gotta be sure.
I just gotta appreciate it. She out here loving her life. You know what I mean? Woman empowerment.
No, because there's
Woman
sometimes I'm gonna speak for the ladies because sometimes we'll be sitting there and y'all don't want to open the phone and we sitting there like, nah, where's Shorty at popping it? Like, I know. I looked at your following. Like, I know. Like, I know.
Listen, look, there was one time where I bought followers, right? And I'll be, shameless. I did it. It was dumb. I was young, but it happened. But and in doing so, it made me follow hundreds of meme accounts. So, now I'm following thirst trap after thirst trap after thirst trap, and I'm like, I'm tired of it. I don't need to be horny 24/7. Like,
that's
it's ridiculous,
fact, bro. I had to cleanse.
I start unfollowing this shit like every single day. I have to unfollow something because I'm like, this is just too much.
Bro, that's a fact. My shit is cleansed now, though. I'm down to like maybe 2-3 accounts that are like that. You know what I mean? Because you gotta get in every once in a while.
But then also, let me say this: like, if you're in a relationship, right, and your girl comes to you and she's like, "Well, I don't like this because it made me feel uncomfortable. It made me feel some type of way. Can you like unfollow or like can we fix it?" Then what? Would you unfollow to make your shorty comfortable, or would you just be like,
he's actually in that situation, I would to make her let him go first.
I'm not in that situation. My girl doesn't care about what I look at because she looks at the same
you're
stuff.
The only one in a relationship. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm different. I mean, my girl is really cool with whatever. I'm not sitting here gawking at other women because I have respect for my girlfriend, but like, she also likes girls. So if a hot ass walks by, a hot ass walks by, she'll be like, "Hey, look." I'm like, "Yeah, nice," but I'll do the same thing, and she'll be like, "Yeah, nice." So it's different for me. Like, we're not it's not like an open relationship or anything like that, but we understand that people look nice, and we can appreciate that in other people.
True. Because I'm be like, "Hey, she thick. Look." There we go.
See?
And that's all it is. You know what I mean? That's what it can be. That's really what we're trying to get at here. It's like, but to your question though, like, if she's not okay with it, then what do you do?
It's different. You gotta, respect your girlfriend. If she doesn't want you following somebody, I guess you gotta, yeah, I guess you unfollow them. I don't know. I'm here to make my girl happy. I'm not trying to make any arguments or fights and shit like that.
Yeah.
But to go back to what I was saying, like about the hot girl walking by, there was that I'm not saying that I do that with guys or anything like that, but I saw a big ass dude walking down the street today. I told you, I said, "Yo, that dude's fucking yak."
Yeah.
It's just a person that I noticed. It doesn't, it was nothing. I didn't want to do anything about it. I was just a noticing thing. Like, you're walking by, you see a hot chick, I ain't trying to pop in her pants or nothing like that. I'm just trying to say, "Hey, look, that's a cool looking person."
Really bad. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, But that's all it is.
And then like we got gurus and opinionists, and they're like, "Well, he's not interested if he doesn't do it, and if this happens," and I'm like, "Y'all,
yeah,
relax."
100%.
Yeah.
Like, because with these couples, I feel bad for them sometimes because you have when you build your audience with somebody,
right?
That's what your brand is. That's what your personal brand is. That's what you're known for. You are tied to that person for the rest of your social media career. No matter if you break up, you separate, change your name, you get to doing something else. That's what you are known for. Right. So when people look into these relationships and they think that they know them personally, you don't. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about De'Ara and Ken.
Hey.
They were out for about how many years? Counting maybe like, I don't know, like 8. Up to 10, maybe. Up to 10. And, they had been engaged. This relationship was constant and ongoing, and people loved De'Ara and Ken, including me. I would tune into their videos because, they were a joy to see. Like, De'Ara would be happy, energetic, and then Ken would balance it out, calm energy, and that's what a couple is, you know what I'm saying? Right. They had the house, the condo, building their dream house, and get stuff that everybody wants to see. But behind the scenes, they had things going on. And so when these things came out on social media, like, Ken rumored cheating or seen with, another shorty after the club, filling up on stuff like that, everybody, oh, Ken, this and that. once you get to see this person's dynamics on their own, and they're not so much as in character as to when they're on, this channel branding with another person, then that's when you start to realize, like, oh, like this is who this really, you know what I'm saying? Because there are things that took place up to people getting to that point with her.
Right.
And then it's like, what if this had been going on between them for a long time and he was the only one that got caught and y'all ain't know, like, oh, she was trifling on the low. What if that happened?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know because it's their personal lives, and that's the issue when it comes to like people being famous and shit. Because when you're getting famous and people are in your life, they're in your shit like nonstop. And that's what you got to be careful about. I mean, just don't cheat on your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Just
and shit
be
okay.
loyal. Yeah, and then you won't have to worry about that shit. But yeah, it's tough because they've been doing this shit for a long time, and then where do they go after there?
Right.
What do they do?
Yeah, because this is like something that like that's really how you get your money. Like this is like that's what they don't understand. Like you get paid to make it seem like everything is peaches and cream, sweet. Like that's what you do. That is your personal image. That's what you look like. You don't.
I have a mixed bag about kind of like online relationships, right? Or online like personalities or whatever that like, make their whole basically their relationship. Like I can see it in two ways, right? One is the way that you see it where it's like, oh, they're doing something together, you know what I mean? Things like that. It's something that they can both make a hustle, you know what I mean, at some level, right? And they can kind of do it as like sort of a bonding thing, right? But at the same time, for the point you're making, there's the other side to it where, now you've mixed kind of blood and money, right? It's like, now when things start to get weird, because it's at the end of the day, it's not just a relationship where it's like, if one of you guys kind of feel off about each other, then that's what it is. And, eventually things will smooth itself out or something like that. Because y'all not friends no more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all together. Y'all brand is built off of your relationship. So it's like, if that starts to fall apart, right? And, all your content is really, you guys doing like, little relationship quirks or a little, when your bae says this, you know what I mean? Or whatever, all these little bullshits. It starts, it's like, for me, the hustle is cool, but at the same time, like I feel like I feel like a lot of them don't look at that side where it's like sometimes after a certain point, it's either it'll come off disingenuine, right? Because now you just become a brand. Your relationship is just a brand, right? And how you guys just look like you're acting all the time, right? Or, you run the risk of basically if you're following or whatever, your fanship, because anybody can have their spot in the spotlight, but it's not gonna last forever. So if your boat starts to fucking sink, then now what happens to your relationship? It was all followers.
True.
Don't mix business and pleasure.
Because like me personally, my friendships and the people that I have involved in my life and, my friends, I don't really put them on my platform because, this is my page. Like what you came here for is me. Yeah. And then I also believe that, personal connection should be, cherished. That's not something that you do. Oh, look at me. Like, we're all on Instagram, right. Because, something could start out genuine. And then once you get on the internet and you get the comments and the haters and then you got the fans critiquing and you just like, they get in your ear. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to become something that it's not.
Right.
So that's really, you should really treasure that off of social media.
That's a fact. I feel like that's what happens with a lot of relationships too. Like they start listening to. I'll boil this down to this saying: a relationship is between two people.
Yep, that's all. Point blank. That's it.
And you start reading other people's comments and then ingesting them in your mind, or you start listening to even family members, mom and dad or your cousins or something like that. and they start putting things in your head or whatever, and you start taking that back to the bedroom or back home with you or in the car while you guys are just trying to enjoy your day out. You know what I mean? Then that starts to what? That starts to add other people into your relationship. Y'all the only two people sitting with each other at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So rather than listening to everybody else tell you how to feel, understand. To me, I feel like in a relationship, there's always should be healthy communication to understand how not only themselves personally feel about their significant other, but to voice that if there is an issue. Because now you're gonna, take that to everybody else. Now everybody else in your relationship, you know what I mean, that has their 2 cents and their biases, and they want to give you advice, and now you riding your whole relationship off of other people's input. You know what I mean? And you gonna be the only one left alone when y'all niggas break up.
Yeah, but that's tough though, because once you become famous, the media will.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. Tony.
Fucking media just they're down, and
There
they
you
will
go.
destroy you. If you slip up once, they will find out what you did. They
Yeah,
will literally they'll fuck you up. You're
yeah,
done.
that's a fact.
No, for real. For real. And I feel like that's what happens with a lot of stars that are child stars. Like
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Spears. She didn't shave her head, go crazy for no apparent reason. Like, like it's certain things like, paparazzi. Let's talk about it because,
Yeah,
they be
They're
all,
the worst.
especially TMZ, like you don't report anybody's death until that their family
that's
finds
a
out.
fact. Kobe, they did
Mm-hmm.
Kobe. They did that with Kobe. They reported.
It's very unprofessional, and I don't think that they should be
Yeah,
considered a source anymore.
that's not even news at that point. That's just like you were saying. That's just pumping content for the sake of pumping content. Like at that point, you've detached yourself from being people and had just become a company. Yeah,
Yeah, it's disingenuous.
yeah.
There's no heart in those companies, bro. It's all money, 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 money. The greed, man, it's the worst.
People are greedy now.
Yeah. But that's the world that we live in. You mean it sucks. It really does. But people want to chase those Benjamins. They want to keep going.
Yeah.
But it's never enough. And people will do some sick shit for it too, like
That,
the Kobe thing. I mean, it's just fucked. It's messed up. I hate the media, and I can't stand the news outlets and all that stuff.
that you just tied up exactly the two things that I was talking about earlier. Like you just summed up, you just tied them into each other. Because people are so greedy and they want to chase money. Like if that's all you chase after, then you never, ever, ever, ever fill that void. People, especially these young kids like my age, like anything, anything for a couple of views, anything
Yeah.
like
Oh my gosh, homie be out here doing
Dangerous,
anything.
wow, wow,
dangerous things too. Like
very dangerous.
a couple of years ago, people were eating fucking Tide Pods. Like, what are you doing?
Homies was going. You know that wall? In, like I don't know what country that's in, but there's a wall where like basically there's just a bunch of old gum stuck to it. Some motherfucker licked the wall. For what? Why? Why?
Because you're mentally like, what are you gonna do when you get that little buzz and you going and pumping and pumping and pumping and just going for a minute, and then your flame go out because you don't got no star power. You know, like especially with rappers, like he got this one hit wonder.
There you
Walk on
go.
the red
Yeah,
carpet, don't know how to talk to the camera, don't know what he wearing, ain't charismatic. He don't got no star power.
Now
He's
that
not
boy broke
developed by
selling cards.
company didn't develop him. They just want him to make music off of his one little song. And then after that, right, he's done because they can't advertise him. They can't do nothing with you. They know they can't do nothing with
yeah.
you.
You don't know his work ethic. You don't know anything else besides that one song, and that's all you're gonna go on. Like that's not that you can't build success off of that. You build a one hit wonder, as you were saying.
Yep. That's
People, I feel like we need more, not only talent, but stars.
a fact.
Dedication. People are very dedicated to posting every day, but they're not dedicated to learning a craft. It's I feel like everything nowadays is just empty. You know, it's people doing a lot of things, but it's doing a lot of nothing. A lot of TikTok dances, all that shit. I mean, I'm not a fan of TikTok dances. They're
Me neither.
corny, and
you know what? I tell Tony all the time, if it wasn't for the fact that we have to be on it, I would not have a TikTok at all. I despise every fiber of it. But you know, it is what it is. If you need to use it, then by all means, I'm gonna take it for every bit of value it's worth. Why? Because I'm not stupid. But at the same time, I can dislike something while I'm like I can eat your whole plate of food, but I cannot like the fact that it doesn't have enough salt.
Like, yeah, because TikTok and Instagram now are neck and neck for the main social media platforms that people
yeah.
use.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, jump on that shit before it can. But I don't know. I'm just getting into TikTok. I don't really dance. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Can't do it. But I'm gonna get on there and I'm gonna look pretty and I'm gonna show you my outfit details.
That's a fact.
Hey, look, everyone has
what you can do.
yeah, exactly, and that's what it comes down to. Do is, I mean, if you can cook, cook, and you can be entertaining while you cook. Be entertaining while you cook. If you were trying to you're trying to show outfits, see how they work, and see if people respond to it, see if that's your style. Look, you're just showing off what people want to see, if and try to relate to other people as well, people that are of similar backgrounds. Anything like I'm anything. You can show off different styles. These things are to help people out too. Like these are. It's not just that's not empty. That has a lot of substance in it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, you're being yourself. You're not going on there and being fake while showing your outfits. You're just saying this is like look, this is a good outfit and showing it off. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with yourself for 2 seconds.
And you got a very peppy attitude, so people are gonna gravitate towards that all the time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like me. I'm not. Like, oh, I got to get this right now because it's trending. Like, I can't buy that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this in my closet and I know how to wear it, and you probably have it too. So I'm going to show you how it works.
Yeah.
So that's really what my fashion content is based off of. My makeup, still getting into that. A lot of people ask me, what are you doing? Yeah. YouTube, I'm slowly getting there.
YouTube is a great place to just make content because YouTube is it's endless. It really is. And once you catch on to YouTube, and you can but thing with YouTube, you have to be consistent with it. You have to be doing it like literally almost every day or every week or something. You have to YouTube's an animal. I love it. I'm addicted to it, and it's bad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I really like. YouTube really like my first, little love, because as I've said before in my episodes, I've had channels. I've been wanting to pump out and create and push content out, but it's like I want it of quality. So if it's not up to the stature that I know that I can produce or I want or I visualize, I'm not gonna put it out there. I'd rather wait to get to my full potential than just, here you go, this is something for this week, and it be crappy and like shitty and
of course.
Like that was just like, okay, I put this out just to keep you entertained. It wasn't like, this is something I worked hard on and I want to present it to other people.
Yeah. And that effort shows, and it goes a long way too. I mean, people act like editing's easy. No, editing takes a lot of time. That shit, a lot of thought process goes behind that. Like there's a lot of background elements that go into making a video that not a lot of people know.
Very true. It
For
takes
sure.
to do a lot of the stuff that, like, even the stuff that we have done in our videos, like, are very basic things, but it takes a long time to do. So, in doing content like this as well, I've grown a new appreciation for a lot of videos on YouTube that I watch and used to just kind of take for granted, because like it takes me so much time to like listen to our episodes again, and then think of references, then find, the videos that equal to those references, download that content, put it in at the right moment on the podcast, make sure that everything flows, things like that. And it takes hours and hours and hours to do. And these are small edits. You know what I mean? Like, and then I'm on YouTube and I'm watching people that I've been looking at for years who have like, full blown, camera zooms, different angles, all these great things, edits that show like, people that like, are animated on the screen, things like all these sorts of different things that you can do with a video that I'm like, I look at it and I go, yo, it probably took you mad long.
Oh.
Thing is, though, there's a lot of people have editors too, though. A lot of people pay other people to do their thing. People who are skilled in that division. Oh, I'm just saying though, like a lot of people, that's how a lot of people work, man. Not a lot of people. Some guys go on the camera and just like, hi, hey, how's it going? It's Tony. Well, welcome to my YouTube page. Today we're going to be talking about X, Y, Z. And then that's all they do. And then the next thing you're doing is just watching them do a video because everything, or watching them play a game. And everything else is done by the editor with a crazy as like intro. It's a nuts. Some of these editors are just so good at their jobs. It's unreal.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Y'all said y'all listen to yourself?
It's hard to listen to myself, not gonna lie.
I don't. When I was first putting out episodes for my previous podcast, I was listening to myself. I was not, because it was, you know what? It was dope. I was proud that I was working.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it was like, you're listening to yourself, like, this is freaking dumb. Like, why are you, you know what I'm saying? I used to just like record, take the flaws out, publish it, there you go. Yeah. Now I'm learning and I'm actually, going back, listening, editing, taking the flaws out, feedback from myself on the next episode, writing my next episode based on what I got out of the last.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great.
Especially
I like that
type of podcast. Especially for your type of podcast. You focus on more like that. Like you said, you want this podcast to grow along with you. You're trying to use this as like that channel. So in order, like, I think for your type of content, that's a very good thing to do because you like you said, it comes back into hearing yourself. You get to hear yourself and your thoughts and how you're feeling and whatnot. And basically, like you said, after taking those notes, it's kind of like its own way. And if you kind of sort of think about it, it's its own way of journaling. Because you come on here, you talk about your feelings and your spirituality, where you are in life, also things that you're racking your mind about personally as well. Like, does social media impact my personal relationships? And are people out here, kind of valuing likes and stuff like that more than they're valuing, actually growing as people, like I'm trying to do. Am I different for feeling like that? I'm trying to be better about myself and better about my character rather than just trying to go online and figure out a way to get viral. Does that make me weird? You know what I mean? Like, these are things that you go through as you, grow. And
yeah, true.
That happens whether you're 16, 17, or you're 32, 35. You know what I mean? It happens forever. So,
but you have to go back and look at yourself. Like the fact that you're going back and you're critiquing yourself, you're finding out what works and what doesn't work. And, and using that to your next video to make that next video better. Like, that's great. That's, that means you're growing every single time you go to post, you're growing.
That's a fact. I love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you.
You had a lot of knowledge. I took it down: knowledge, experience, passion, and you felt like you had a gift. And so, if there's anything that you get from us as a summary of all the shit that we just said, it's showing so far. And the more you do it and you keep doing what you've been doing as far as like, taking down those notes, understanding, okay, what can I do next? How can I make this better? Maybe if I need to take a little longer to release a video, am I willing to do that in order to release better content? All that shit comes back to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loyal fan bases. And that's what matters, really. People that will stick around even when the videos suck.
Yeah. Because sometimes, like,
matters.
Right now I'm here telling them, like, your likes don't matter. If you like that picture, it don't matter. Social media don't matter. And I'm getting on here. I'm like, y'all tune into the next episode of Keeping Up with 7. I'm on YouTube. It's kind of hypocritical. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Because as much as you don't want to pay attention to the numbers do
Do
matter.
Yeah,
matter.
You
Yeah.
can't,
but this
you
is like
can't, but
something like this
yeah,
is
but the
something
thing with the numbers, you can't let them affect you emotionally.
Exactly. Exactly.
like because me, I just had a consultation the other day.
Yeah.
Went
Mhm.
and invested in my career. Had this people tell me, this is what you need to do with your page. Wrap this up, sum this up in your bio. This is what it's gonna look like over the next couple of weeks or months that you post, and then this should be happening for you. Like that's and this is
Right.
if this is something that you want to do, because
Right.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. A lot of people are trying to become influencers because this is a market that's gonna be sailing in like the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of market worth.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, people coming on and, trying to get their little thing on. But when you are doing this and you're partaking and, you're in the process and you have these inspirations and people that are bigger than you, Ari or like Jada, for example, those girls, you can't compare your story to everybody else's because you know what? The market might be oversaturated, but they don't have a you yet.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again for the people in the back. Say it louder for the homies in the fucking back.
The market might be oversaturated, but they don't have a you yet. So
Now.
you got your blessing and you took your so you God put you here to do it a different way. So they may be doing it, but you not doing it the same way as everybody else.
Yes, a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Hey, that couldn't have been.
Absolutely.
I think that's been kind of the summary of a lot of the shit that we've gone over. You got to realize that you can only be the best you ever invented.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fact. Like nobody can be you the way you can be you, and to realize, in the same way that you have a certain gift, right, where you feel like you have the ability to talk to people, right? I feel like I have the ability to talk to people. Tony has the ability to talk to people, and I know he, even though sometimes he don't want to admit it, like things like that, like we can go to a job and be there for years and shit like that and let them take advantage in some way, shape, or form, right? Because obviously we're there. It's a choice in the word of Kanye West.
Yeah.
But as we're there, they take advantage in some way, shape, or form of our talents, like the ability to speak well, to be a little bit more charismatic, the ability to socialize with people, be organized, things like that. And you make money while you're there, but for the most part, you're making that CEO's money. You know what I mean? Like paid, they're getting paid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always say.
But
if a job can sell you, you should be able to sell yourself. Because while you in the job, they paying you to let go of your dream, but you don't know that you could sell yourself.
I never heard it say better than that. Let go of your dreams. That's a fact. And so I'd rather take my talents that I've realized by exploring myself, the same way that you're taking your talents that you realize that you explored yourself, and put it out there and see what I get. Because at the end of the day, the best thing about being your own boss in some way, shape, or form is that the only person that's going to stop you is yourself.
Yep.
They didn't believe in us.
God did.
Yeah. The ultimate goal at the end of the day is, go to sleep when you want to, wake up when you want to.
Facts.
I always to be so young, like people look at me and they're like, tell me what you want to do, this and that, and they're like, oh yeah, but just make sure you. And I'm like that's why people get so intimidated and they back out of their dreams because they're looking around and they're like, yeah, I want to do this and I know that I want to. You gotta look people in their face and be like, and that's why y'all get so when people say, are you sure you got a plan B? I don't. No. No. I'm doing.
Exactly. All right, guys. I'm sorry, but I do have to go. My boy is crying, and I gotta bring him outside. He gotta go to the bathroom. Hey, it was lovely meeting you. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for having us on. I appreciate it. Rich, I'll see you tomorrow, bud.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and keeping up the 7. Thank you so much, Rich and Tony, for coming on my podcast and speaking. It's been a while ride. I've been trying to get people to come up on here and tell me what they think about certain subjects. So much love to you guys for coming on here and being willing to participate. If you want more of Rich and Tony, tell them where they can find you at.
If you want more Rich and Tony and more of the We Are the Problem podcast, you can find us everywhere that you get your podcast. Make your choice. Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora is pending, iHeartRadio, RSS, Samsung Podcast, Google Podcast. Our bio link is on our Instagram. It'll take you everywhere you need to go. However do you want me? I mean, honestly, I'm telling you. And we got more stuff coming. We're going to have part 2 coming. KUW7. We got an official interview with a member of the family in general coming out soon on Sunday. For those that are here on the NCAR Club, that's coming out soon on Sunday. I don't know what day that is, but we are in early January. So whenever that is, you guys will see that uploaded. This will be probably uploaded way after that. But
probably.
So
y'all, I'm slow.
And we're gonna have more coming until then. So, I'm excited to see this come up. You know what I mean? We'll do our best to try to promote everything for you as well when you decide to upload this, whenever you decide to upload this. And we will do our best to show up and bring more energy to part 2. Shout out Southwest Airlines for us one more time.
Southwest. Yes,
Did you know? I don't know if you peeped it on our Instagram. We're trying to become the first podcast ever sponsored by an airline.
For real?
That's a fact.
Now I gotta fly Southwest.
Yeah, shout out Southwest Airlines. We're gonna keep promoting you guys until you guys pay us to do so.
Oh my God.
All right. So I'm gonna let you sign us out.
All right. Y'all, if you are looking for more of me, you can find me on Instagram at Amour7, AMOURR, the number 7, EVEN. Make sure you subscribe, follow me on Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about me. All of the info will be linked in the description of this episode. And until next time, we'll be waiting to meet you on Keeping Up with 7.
Laters.